Hello, my name is Walsh. I'm the lead volunteer for 4th Morpeth Scout Group. And today at our headquarters behind me, we're celebrating the centenary of 4th Morpeth Scout Group. 4th Morpeth Scout Group started 100 years ago as a small scout troop in the Congregational Church in Dacre Street. We bounced around Morpeth for several years until we arrived on this site at Low Stanners in the 60s, where we built a Nissen hut, and at the time the older scouts themselves built that Nissen hut. That was replaced in the early 2000s with the building you have behind me, and that building itself has been increased in size a couple of times with a couple of big extensions. The Scout Group itself now has nearly 300 young members in it. We have 2 squirrel drays, that's 4 to 6 year olds. We have 4 beaver colonies, that's 6 to 8 year olds. We have 4 cub packs, that's 8 to 10 and a half year olds, and we have 4 scout troops, which is 10 and a half to 14 year olds. One of those scout troops actually is a Sea Scout troop, and that's actually based at our satellite location in Pegswood itself. So we meet, most of our sections meet here at our headquarters, but we also have a satellite up at Pegswood, at the Pegswood Welfare. And the really interesting thing about scouting is it's changed a lot, but it hasn't changed at the same time. So the core values of scouting, having fun, making friends, learning skills for life, those things, we may have changed what we call it, but we're still doing that 100 years later. Obviously the technology's changed. We now have lots of things to do with IT. We have kayaks, we have paddle boards, we have things that didn't exist when we started 100 years ago, but actually that core fun and friendship, that core life skills, the cooking on fires, the putting up tents, the idea of working together in teams, of helping each other, all of those things still exist and are still really relevant to today's young people. We actually have a really strong and healthy volunteer team. It's over 45 adults help us every week. With that, with running a building of this size, with the amount of equipment we have, we do have people that we need behind the scenes. So we need people to help maintain our kit. We need people to help us keep our money in order. We need people to make sure that the grass that I'm standing on is cut. We've got lots of jobs that aren't necessarily involved directly with the young people, but where people can support us by taking those things away from the frontline leaders, who can then concentrate on doing running an exciting programme for the young people.
Now, your exhibition today includes a lot of material from the history of the group, and you appealed for people to send stuff or bring stuff in. How successful was that? How much did you get in?
Actually, no, we got a lot of stuff. It's surprising how much response we got in terms of people being able to find old pictures and digitize them and then send us those pictures in. So we've really increased our archive of what's going on. We've also managed to fill in gaps in our own history. So we know, for instance, as I said, where we originally started on Dacre Street, but some of those other the places that we've been since then. We were at one point we were at we met at the workhouse. We found out that we were actually somewhere near Phoenix Yard for a year or so. So we found out lots of gaps in our history from those people providing us with information. What we'd really like actually is anyone still who has any information, especially personal anecdotes, things that happened, funny stories, things they really enjoyed. We'd really appreciate getting more information from those people if people like to do that, and we'd like to continue doing that even when we've stopped celebrating our 100 years.
And tell me, just to finish off, how do you see the future of scouting, and in particular in Morpeth?
I think there's a lot said about young people and the fact that they're now just attached to their phones. They now only live in a cyber reality, that they don't get out and do things. And I think I frankly think that's rubbish. I think there's plenty of young people who can be engaged in exciting activity, who can work together, who can work in teams, etc. We're not completely full, but we're very nearly completely full, especially in our squirrel and beaver colonies. So I see us potentially having to expand further to serve the whole of Morpeth, along with the other groups that are based in Morpeth. The 6 Morpeth are also based here. And we have one at Stannington Ridley, and we have one in Widrington as well. I think what at the moment we're having more people want to join us than actually we can take, and I think that will continue, because I think the programme that we deliver is still relevant to today's young people.